Hi everyone, welcome to Arukah Living. This is the fourth video that I'm showing you, and here we learn about medical missionary work, we learn about organic gardening, and we also learn about country life. And today I want to show you my favorite method of how to enrich the soil, and that is through earthworms. And here's my earthworm bin, and I'm quickly going to open it for you. In my garden I use a lot of earthworms. They are my buddies, they are my factory, making the soil fertile, and therefore I breed with earthworms. I've got an earthworm farm, and whatever the earthworms produce is called vermi-compost. And here I have 3 baths, just old baths that I got from people, and they already have a hole in it, and so I put the baths, as you can see, on an angle, because if it rains or water is put on here, it needs to drain through, and I'm catching it right at the hole. Let me just show you. I catch this wonderful juice, which is called, what I just called worm juice. Beautiful black liquid that I use to put on my garden, and it is really garden gold. Now, the way I use it is you have to, of course, dilute it a little bit. So you dilute it from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 before you spray it on your plants or put it in your garden, because it may burn your plants, because this is very highly nutritious things for your garden. Now here, where I breed my earthworms, you need to wet it on top if you want to get the liquid at the bottom. Wet it a little bit if you know you're going to use it in your garden, and give it maybe half an hour. You'll find the liquid at the bottom, dilute it and pour it in your garden on your soil, or even can spray it on the leaves. It's not a problem as long as you dilute it before you use it. Now I just want to show you, it's very easy to feed worms and to maintain worms. These worms that are here, these worms are special worms that I got. It's called red wigglers. They are actually worms from the northern hemisphere in Europe and America and so forth. But what type of worms are the best to use? Well, they say the red wigglers are the best because they can breed so fast. You can use South African earthworms. You can actually use any earthworms, but it takes a bit longer for them to multiply. That is why I use the red wigglers. Now, if you can get hold of your earthworms, South African earthworms, or even red wigglers, all you have to do is you have to feed these guys. Now, what do you put in your bin? Well, you can put anything comes from the kitchen. I throw in here. And just spread it for them. And when these things start rotting, they will come and eat it. Now, you will see I put it on one side of my breeding bin. I don't cover my whole breeding bin, because rotting material give off methane, which may kill the earthworms, and they try to get away from it as well. So I just put in a part of my earthworm bin. You can also use manures. Make sure that you wet the manure so that you have a damp material that you put in for the worms to eat. Cow manure, horse manure, and you start with a little bit. So let me show you how to start the bin. This is really just something small to illustrate it. You can use 2 bins. The first bin, you need to drill some holes at the bottom, right? Because as the earthworms are moving in here and you're wetting here, the juice needs to run out at the bottom. And this one doesn't have holes because you want to catch the juice. So I put a stone in here just to separate the 2 buckets, and there it is. So what you can put in here is paper, wet paper, cardboard, sawdust, manures, things that are rotten already that you can give, and then put your earthworms in there, and they will still start breeding, starts doing whatever they need to do. And every now and then, I would say every week, check them, that there's enough food for them. Don't cover them completely with kitchen scraps, because they may die. Just put a little bit at a time. Keep on feeding them, and they will give you the the wonderful juice at the end, but also they will produce vermicompost. Now let me show you what I do, because once these bins are full, I need to take the earthworms out and put them one side, and of course take the vermicompost and put it in my garden. So I just take a garden fork, because it's less problems. Maybe you'll cut your earthworms if you use a spade, but on the top part of your soil, that's where your earthworms are, where the food. So you take the top part out. You can see here all the earthworms that are here. Right, so I take the top, maybe 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters, take it off, put it in a wheelbarrow, put it in a bucket like this, all right, and then take the rest out, put it in your garden. Your earthworms are one side, put some extra food in here, new food, right at the bottom again, to start your new cycle again, and put your earthworms back. But I also use these earthworms that I breed here to put in my raised beds as well. And all these raised beds that I have, I put these guys in there, throw it in there, and they start working in the soil. And the process of fertilizing the soil happens much faster as well. Just remember to put the earthworms not directly in the sun. You need to cover them because they don't like the sunlight. Just cover them nicely as well. Right, I put this netting to keep it a little bit more cool in summer when the plastic gets too hot for them. Earthworms aerate our soils. They make the soil soft so that eventually the roots of the plant can go deep into the soil. But they also display a attitude of giving and sacrifice, because they live and die just to enrich the soil for you in your garden. And it reminds me of Ephesians 3 verse 17 to 19, that Christ live in our hearts by faith, and that we are rooted in the love of God, so that we may know the love of Christ. That sacrificial love that Christ showed to us. We need to know that, and eventually the seeds that are planted there can root in that sacrificial love. This is the gospel in the garden.